Hello YouTube, my name's Tag and welcome back to Danganronpa Lapse. So in the last video, we basically got told about the truth. Basically, the truth got revealed that this is actually a game where you have to basically unalive people, and the only way to get out of this place, because we're trapped in it, is to basically get away with unaliving someone. Yeah, and we're basically now at the point where I feel like the first sense of dread is gonna come. That first crime, the first act is coming, and I'm nervous because I don't know who is it gonna be. I think it's gonna be the friend, like the best friend. Either she's gonna be the one that's gonna be unalived, or she's gonna be the one that's gonna be to have done it. But yeah, I don't know. So without further ado, let's continue the game. Okay, day 3 time. I opened my eyes to the now familiar colors of the room. Sigh. I looked at the clock on my bedside table. 7:28. I turned off the alarm before it rang and steadily got out of my bed. Only 2 days had passed, yet I found myself beginning to acclimate to the sleep schedule. I splashed my face with cold water, the icy sting charging my nerves for a sharp awakening. I wonder if anyone is in the dining hall for breakfast yet. I made my way to the dining hall, stopping in the foyer for a moment to gaze at the mysterious electrifying doorway. Yeah, don't touch the door, you don't want to get shocked again. In the dining hall were a few early risers just starting breakfast. Good morning. Good morning, Echo. Please help yourself. I made some muffins with citrus today. Hopefully it'll energize you. Nothing like a hearty, satisfying breakfast to start the day. Oh, rolling with the same crew as last night? Except I guess Ashley was switched in for my daughter. My heart hurt when Art mentioned Ashley. My daughter must have noticed and sat close to me. Here, I made lemon squares just for you. Ashley told me in passing you like lemon. She did? So Ashley was still looking out for me. Thank you for me as well. Of course. We continued our leisurely breakfast as we all shook off the night's slumber. No one else came in during the length of our stay in the dining hall, however. Ding dong, ding dong. What's it now? What is it now? It is now 9 a.m. Please assemble in the second floor atrium for a special announcement. Oh no, they're gonna add a weight to this now. They're gonna make it so that we kind of forced to do it. Kind of forced to kill each other. After the announcement ended, I mechanically started to get up from my seat when Art loudly kicked his feet up on the table. No way! Art leaned back in his chair and pouted. We are not going to listen to your creepy announcements, you hear? Yeah, he waggled his finger aimlessly at the ceiling. I wonder what happens if we refuse to assemble. Do you want to test this passive protest? Why not? I'm curious as well. Hey, isn't this dangerous? I agree, it might be risky. The only risk so far has been from when Echo actively tried to escape. The past 48 hours have been nothing but casual to us. However, after a moment of silence, the painting above the fireplace switched to the announcement emblem. It was the Killing Game announcer. So, welcome to day 3. So it plays regardless. I sat down and allowed the announcement to disrupt our morning. Are you all comfortable? Having a nice breakfast? Having fun sleeping in? That's great to hear. Today we'll be reviewing some general rules relative to our lovely killing game. They are as follow. Students will enjoy an idyllic lifestyle within the apothem walls for a duration of 7 days. Activity amenities are open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Breaking major assets, kitchen, refrigerator, theater lights, etc. is strictly prohibited. At the end of the 7 days, whoever survives is awarded the ultimate prize. To expedite the process towards the ultimate prize, one must kill a fellow student without getting caught. And to get the ball rolling each morning, a special musing will be provided to exercise your mind. Today's force motive question is: are your talents a true representation of who you are? Who are you beyond your talent? Stew upon these brain-teasing inquiries as you all carry on with your communal lives. And whoever actually went to the atrium gets an additional special gift. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. No one wants to go to the second floor just to hear an announcement. That's what speakers are for, after all. So whoever followed the rules got a little something, something, if you know what I mean. Finally, if there are no developments by a day's end, there will be serious repercussions. You all will suffer the consequences and be executed as a group for failing to participate in the game. Yep, there's the weight of it. We have to do it because if no one does, we all lose. Check out your bracelet. They'll contain a lethal dose of Complex 53. What's that? Just enough to knock you into the next life in less than a minute. Huh? I flipped my bracelet over to see a small vial of clear liquid attached to a control chip. Our bracelets had things like our bracelets had these things the whole time, but that's just a last resort. I don't really want to use it unless you are all really. I don't want to really use it unless you all really bore me. So come on, you all make it happen. The bizarre announcement cut out, and the painting returned to its original form. So the thing they're giving us to motivate murder is a question and threat of a clear liquid that is proclaimed to be a deadly toxic gas. As far as I know, such a chemical by the name of Complex 53 doesn't exist. It might just be water like a prop or something. And to release it only at the end of the day if nothing happens? I don't know, seems kinda weak. I furrowed my brow. I recalled that what Mercy said yesterday, that the risk wasn't high enough to do something drastic. A question was hardly raising the bar, not to mention a small vial of liquid. As for the other provided motive, as it were, I don't understand. Are we meant to discuss the question with each other? Perhaps, unless anyone has any skeletons in the closet, I believe it is only fair to share our thoughts on the subject. I sheepishly ducked my head, but Missy caught me. Echo, why don't you lead us in our discussion? You are the most qualified, since you sit in a rather grey area when it comes to ultimate talents. Which isn't to say you're not included, but I think you have the most neutral viewpoint that is appropriate for judgment. Sure, if you say so. If you don't want to, it's not necessary. It's alright, I have to admit, I'm pretty curious now. Well, let's see what everyone has to say. Okay, let's start with. Let's start with art. Let's start with art first. Is being a pro golfer a true representation of who I am? I don't really get it. I mean, I think it is. I haven't really expanded my interests outside what I know, which is golf, so I can't say anything else encompasses who I am. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so. If you try something new now, I think it might be disorienting to fail at said activity since you're not ultra skilled in it. Oh yeah, that does make sense. Well, ultimate golf or not, yeah, I like playing golf. I think I got so good at the sport because I knew I liked it all this time and stuck around with it. Never really thought of the other stuff. Yeah, there we go. I guess it's a simple sentiment. Thanks, Echo. Next is Mercy. A political tactician, huh? It's not glamorous. I'm often tasked with knowing the burdens and misdeeds of many people in power. It's somewhat a curse to be able to lie my way out of a sticky situation. How do you feel about being called the ultimate tactician, though? I don't mind. It is what it is. It is the strength I've been blessed with, and I would have been misspoken if I said I took an interest in other things. I've always known my personality to be that of someone who informs, and if I can give a purpose-driven voice power to speak up for what's right, then the ensuing battle be it a difficult one, will provide satisfying results. I believe at the end of it, if intense debate occurs, there's often an intense emotion behind it. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen your fair share of selfishness and greed, though. Circumventing those intentions can be trying, but yeah, you just need to take the good with the bad. Messy self-assured as always. Hey, Cyrus. So, Cyrus, yes? What does being called the ultimate charisma entail? Why, it's the mystifying ability to draw people towards me with little to no effort. Or so I've been told. Some might equate the word charisma with charm, and in turn think that charisma has to do with good looks, beautiful voice, overflowing wealth, etc. However, I think charisma actually lies simply in having a kind soul. People are swayed by those with a kind soul, be it they have good intentions to follow through on or bad intentions to take advantage of. I found myself absorbed inside his statement. I might even say you're rather charismatic yourself, Echo. Oh, I don't know if I would go there for. Nonsense. I welcome your presence. It's calming. I feel a little embarrassed after being given such kind praise from this one so-called ultimate charisma himself. Um, so with that in mind, would you describe your personality and talent? Now sure, it's always difficult to talk about yourself, though I suppose I do like going with the flow. I guess a word could be cooperative, and last but not least, Pandora. Who am I beyond my talent? Honestly, I wouldn't be anything without baking. Even in another life, I think I would always find my way back to baking. It's just in my soul. I think at the core of it, such an activity represents all that I care for in life, the simplicity and comfort in sharing good food with friends. To make something infused with love, and to bring that joy to others, it's quite a special feeling, is it not? Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Listen to me, being so sentimental. You really love baking, huh? Oh, it's everything. And that's everyone. Everyone said similar things. That their talents run alongside their personalities. You couldn't have one without the other. What an odd motive. I would imagine talking about this kind of thing among peers would only reinforce relations. If our captors are trying to plant distrust, I'm afraid I don't quite understand the logic. I thought about the intention of the question, but all I could think was that it might be to weed out spies, which involuntarily led me to suspect the person I would least suspect. Is something the matter, Echo? There's no way she's a spy. Nothing. I averted my gaze from Pandora. She has some kind of secret note that bore the strange emblems of our mansion announcements. What could it mean? If I may be so bold, I firmly believe from our discussion that our ultimate talents are truly one and the same with our personality and characteristics. I'm inclined to agree. I guess it's cool that we got to know each other a little more, though it seems like a friendly enough topic. Indeed, our talents and skills born from a passion within, and you simply cannot remove that aspect of a person without losing a part of them. A peculiar motivator, that one. With our thoughts on the force motive question cleared, our group was able to finish the morning in peace. I fear something's gonna happen. I feel like something bad's gonna happen. The Breakfast Club, the Breakfast Club wrapped up, and with no other announcements to interrupt us, the afternoon was completely available for our individual activities. I didn't have anything in particular planned today, so I was in the foyer before deciding what to do next. Hey, Echo! A familiar voice erupted from behind me. What's up, Art? This might be weird to ask, but do you mind if I hang out with you today? I'm kind of curious about other students' talent stories, but I didn't want to go running around the mansion alone. Why didn't you ask one of the others for breakfast? Huh? Oh, 'cause you're cool. What? I mean, you're easy to talk to. I thought about asking Missy, but Missy's kind of imposing, honestly. You know, I feel like I have to walk all nice like I'm balancing books on my head or something. I don't think she's strict on how others walk or anything like that. That aside, she stuck around with you on the first date, didn't she? Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, well, I'm asking you now since I'm here. Besides, I can't find Lyle. I wanted to get another strategy meeting started today and maybe even help him with solving some stuff, but so I was his second choice. Somehow he seemed disappointed. Sure, I'll tag along. I didn't really have anything planned today anyway. I throw off thinking about Ashley. We can probably cut down on one visit right here, since you and Ashley are best friends. Do you know anything about the talent? Ugh. Honestly, I can't say that I do. This is the first time I ever heard about such a thing like ultimate talents. All I knew was that she lived out in the countryside with her father on a ranch, Westbridge stables. I didn't think all her time around horses amounted to something as intense as being an ultimate jockey. Huh, maybe she just likes to be modest. I mean, just because she has high win rates doesn't mean she avoids taking care of her horses. Kinda like she works hard and plays hard. Does that make sense? I couldn't really make heads or tails of it. I didn't really want to be thinking about Ashley at the moment. Anyway, it was too overwhelming. I sighed. Yeah, I suppose that could be it. Alright, that's one down. Let's get going. It seems I got roped into exploring the other students' opinions on the force motive question with Art. Not that I was supposed to. Not that I was opposed to the idea of learning about their mothers. There were a handful of people we haven't heard from. Okay, who are we feeling talking to today? So we have Ford, we have Say, we have Lyle, and we have Cannon. Okay, let's start with the most difficult people first. Cannon can't avoid us forever. I wonder what the people got that went to the atrium. Cannon was in the atrium, photographing some of the scenery in the center of the grand hall. Art and I hid away behind some bushes watching quietly. Hey, I know you two are there. Be quiet until I'm done. We watched in silence as she snapped various photos of the plants. Out with it. What do you want? Echo was curious about your talent in relation to the force motive question. Way to throw me under the bus. Yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts. There's not much to say. I know who I am. I'm a photographer, a behind-the-scenes kind of person who brings others' visions to life and captures them for eternity. Was this rehearsed or what? No. I just know who I am. With a certainty. Just as Cannon was about to make a dramatic exit on the lingering note, Ventura called her on the way out. Oh, Cannon, just the person I wanted to see. And is this about the motive question as well? Indeed. Rookim figure is an interesting subject. Would you mind if I ask what draws you to it? Yes, I do mind. It's a niche, and I don't want to waste my breath explaining these nuances to people who wouldn't understand. No activity is so niche that it's acted upon without love, you know. Whatever, leave me alone. Did I offend you? No. Just, why are you all bombarding me with questions? We're not close. This is how we get close. We make small talk and learn about each other. It's all in good spirit. Well, I really wish you wouldn't bother. Cannon ends the conversation for us again and disappears from the atrium. Well, I guess that's that. Sorry you had to walk in on that, Pandora. It's fine. Perhaps it wasn't my place to ask. I shouldn't pry, right? Oh, you didn't do anything wrong. Cannon's just kinda snippy. That's putting it kindly. Thank you, Art, Echo. Excuse me, I just remembered something. I'll see you two around. Oh, sure thing. We'll see you later. Okay, let's go find Lyle. I wonder. Where are you? Arthur and I looked around for Lyle, but he remained as elusive as ever. What the heck? Where is Lyle? Don't know, I'm certain we would have ran into him by now. If we ran around some more, we're bound to find him sooner or later. Well, if we didn't find him. Okay, let's go. Let's save the last. Let's find Forte. Forte is probably where I think he is. Ah, Arthur Echo, what brings you here? Arthur was curious about your opinion on the force motive question. Yeah, why opera? Isn't it boring? Art full of tact, I see. Uh-huh. It's quite the opposite of boring. Performances are very rich and can shake the viewer to their core. Opera is a wonderful art that combines raw vocal emotion with the physical beauty of expressing the self with your very being. Oh, wanna hit us with some bars? Forte's operatic voice. To say I was a little curious would be an understatement. Oh no, I couldn't perform under these conditions. What conditions? Why, the conditions of the heart, of course. What's wrong with you? Can we ask why that is? Well, you see, I haven't been able to properly express myself since the tragedy struck my hometown. We lost a friend in our community, Sir Hyde, one of our most loyal friends. One of his favorite pastimes included long walks in the park, with the wind gently brushing through his ears. Wait, is he talking? Why did everyone cut the thing? You lost your dog? Art. Yes, I'm still rather fragile about it. I'm sorry, that sucks, man. Si, davvero. I suppose it's different experiencing tragedy than performing it. Ah, precisely. I've been troubled since. What kind of dog was he? A German Shepherd of 13 years? Ah, I'm sorry you gave him a great... Oh, I'm sure you gave him a great full life, with lots of music, of course. Forte's lip bent a small grin. Indeed, dog is man's best friend, are they not? It would have been unseemly of me to treat him not unlike my own family. Yet such charm and wit, howling along with my practice. Why, I dare say, he prevented me from practicing times more often than not. Sir Hyde loved to command the attention of all with his gaiety. I couldn't help but smirk at the idea of his dog on the theatre stage. It was a sweet thought. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, just remember those good old times with Mr. Hyde. Indeed I shall. Thank you, Art. After that small chat, Art and I thanked Forte for his time and paused near the theatre exit to collect our thoughts. I bet his dog was really fun to play with. Anyway, what did we learn? I don't think we got an answer to the question as much as we did a description of what opera is. I think we did. Forte's kind of a dramatic guy, sure, but I think he is very in tune with his emotion, just like opera. Satisfied with the answer, Art nodded in understanding. And despite him jumping straight to Forte's worries, Art seems to have helped Forte recall his fondness of his late friend. Hey, last but not least, we have, say... Let's try to find Say. Art and I saw Say in the kitchen, poking at the digital screen. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Say, what's the matter? Oh, it's no use. I don't know how to use the screen thing. It doesn't register my taps. Huh? You need to tap your bracelet on the screen first, and then you can choose a meal. What? She raised her right arm and scanned her bracelet on the screen, activating the display. This is embarrassing. I'm not right-handed, so I didn't think about it. That I could help. Okay, so she's left-handed. That's good to know in case that might prove to be relevant to a plot. Say poked at the digital screen, ordering a rice porridge with pickled vegetables. Eat up, Say. Echo, let's get something too, so she doesn't have to eat alone. Art, Say, and I shared a small meal together. After we finished, they quietly sat at the dining hall and fiddled with her rings. She then let out a big, exasperated sigh. It's really no use. What's wrong? I can't get used to anything around you. Maybe because I'm kind of forgetful, but I went so long without eating because I couldn't figure out the menu thing. You shouldn't go so long without eating. If you need help with anything, you can always ask one of your friends here. Friends? Was that too forward? No, it's just, I don't talk to you all much, so I didn't believe you thought of me as a friend. Oh, don't say that. There's no reason we wouldn't call you a friend, right? Uh, uh, she stopped there, but I saw a small smile turn the corner of her lips. So, right down to business. Business? We came by to see you to ask you about the question thing. The question thing? You mean the forced motive question? Yeah, a group of us were talking about it in the dining hall over breakfast, and we were wondering if you had any thoughts about it. I don't know. It seems straightforward. I'm a detail-oriented person, and watches are full of life, are full of little mechanisms. Although, I guess I can get lost in those details and miss the big picture, like just now. But then again, after all the gear design differences under the face of the watch, the outcome is still fixed. A timepiece, right? Eh, yeah, I don't really understand what the question is supposed to be all about. Sorry. No worries. We don't know either, so we were just going around getting everyone's opinion. Oh, I see. Well, good luck figuring it out then. Shay clams up and quickly scuttles off before we could say anything else. Oh, bye. She's kind of antsy, huh? Well, she's socially awkward. Like most of us, I'm sure it's fine. After running around all day, Arthur and I managed to catch Lyle as he was about to enter his room on the other side of the living quarters wall. Yo, Lyle! Hey there, what's the good word? You're awfully casual for being so difficult to find. Yeah, we finally caught you. Huh? You've been running around this whole building solving puzzles? And we've been running around this whole building looking for you. Oh, I'm in hot demand, is that right? Yeah, we wanted to hear your thoughts on the motive question. We thought it might improve relations, getting to know each other better and all. Ah, that. Forced motive question. It's not a very strong motivator, is it? What if I don't want to talk about it? I suppose we don't have to. Yeah, but we're friends. We should share stuff like this. A friend should know when to let up on the pressure. Oh, sorry, Lal. Art looked down dejectedly. I'm sure Art didn't mean to press you so hard. It's fine. It's just, I've just known puzzles all my life, you know? Puzzle solving is more of a introverted task, if you will. It's generally seen as activity simply for passing the time, cubing, crosswords, etc. I don't really like thinking about who I am beyond my talent is all. I'm afraid that I'm too boring without puzzles. You're not boring. You're plenty cool. I mean, look around. You've got all sorts of friends here who think you're amazing for charging right towards solving the electric door. Right, Echo? Amazing was one way to put it. Yeah, Lau, don't beat yourself up. You have a gift. Thanks, you too. But hey, while we're on the topic, listen to this. I think it was the door and I managed to figure something out. Lau had our attention as he led the way to the foyer. Ooh, what did he find? Here we are. Give the door a try. What? No, wait, does that mean we don't have to stay here anymore? Well, there's a catch. Go ahead. I gave Lau a nervous look before reaching slowly to the door handle. We get shocked again. That'd be funny. Bracing myself, I quickly gripped the handle and nothing happened. It was fine. I was fine. Wow, Lau, we did it. I gave the door a push, but they wouldn't budge. Oh, what now? What the? Is there a barricade or something? I think so. That or it's just hard locked. So I managed to disable the electric door, but the physical barrier still is an issue now. Sigh. I admit I'm relieved that there's more layers to this task, huh? What do you mean? It would have been too boring if I just had to disarm a door. I'm concerned with the discovery, and I was more satisfied with having more puzzles to solve than he was with removing a trap from the dangerous door. Here's something else that is interesting though. Might be important since it's about this killing game twist. After that 9 AM morning announcement, I saw Say sneak downstairs from the direction of the atrium. Do you think she actually went to listen to that announcement? I can't think of anything else. Even stranger was after she came down, she went to the dining hall for a minute but quickly left. I poked around in there and saw this in the pantry. Oh, it's that again. That could be from Pandora. Whoa, secret note. So, is that the so-called special gift? Yeah, I can only assume. I was confused. How could it have been a special gift from this morning if Pandora shared the note with me in confidentiality last night? I decided to keep quiet about it. I didn't want to confuse things further. I studied it a little, and the symbols don't match any symbols of the students that are currently here. I cross-referenced the note symbols with the ones on our personal room doors and got nothing. That is, if the note symbols even belong to students. I remember Mercy saying something about other students. Oh? She told me that the preservation project divides alternate student groups across different wings of the building. Maybe those are students from a different wing. So what would we do if we did know those students? It's not like we've seen them in our part of the building yet. Who knows? Could it be morphogenetic field theory? Lal muttered something under his breath. Morpho what? Don't worry about it. It makes me wonder though, are we meant to be recognizing other students? For example, I believe I recall Ashley and Echo being friends before this, am I right? No, you're right. I thought it was just me though. Right? See, for me, I recognize Art School Emblem, AA Academy, right? Huh? Yeah, how'd you know? I went to Rainwolf Institute. I remember seeing your school symbol when our schools merged. My school used to be called Signal Prep High School before the merger. I thought you were so cool, representing a whole school to influence a merger. That's kind of embarrassing. It was such a long time ago, I hardly remember it. Why not? It's amazing that you use your golf skills to make things happen. Our school has never been in better shape thanks to your help. Ah, thanks, but people complain that my games aren't interesting enough since I always get the same result, a hole in one. They always say games should be entertaining. They should just play golf themselves, you know. Besides, now you're the cool one. I mean, you used like your deduction or whatever to figure out how to disarm a dangerous door. That's more utility than I could have ever imagined. Huh, it's nothing. The door doesn't even open anywhere. It's still awesome though. I feel like you could even figure out what the deal is with the killing game announcement stuff. Oh yes, that's the end goal. I'm just working my way through all these small pieces they've given me. The two talked energetically as I awkwardly watched. Oh, sorry Echo. We're just over here talking your ears off, huh? That's alright. I'll take my leave now, if you guys want to continue. Sure, it was fun hanging out with you. Let me know if you come across anything else weird, alright? Oz and I left, chattering along the way out. They really clicked, huh? Despite Art's lack of sensitivity. I turned around and glanced over at the digital kiosk in the foyer, looking for the time. 15. It's already 3 in the morning? Nothing regarding the killing game has happened all day. I guess I should be relieved. I really wanted to find Ashley, but it seemed like she was trying her best to put distance between us. I suppose I'll just pass the time in the study. Something bad is gonna happen. I made my way to the study and skimmed the collection of encyclopedias. A music title book, Art Theme Parks Across the Wall, caught my attention. With a tome in hand, I settled in the warmly lit study and began to leaf through the pages. I passed the time reading about a strange underwater theme park called Limu. Wow. Okay. Ding dong, ding dong. I looked up from the book's pages and toward the ringing sound coming from the ceiling. It is now 4 p.m. and no one has died yet. Ugh, how boring. Here's something that'll pump up your blood to shed some blood. Some inspiring, exciting, and energizing music. Music? This one's a special request from many of you at home. Enjoy. The album finished and a cacophony of obnoxious noise started playing over it. Ugh, what kind of music is this? I dropped the book to cover my ears, but it was pointless. The reverberation pierced through my skull and pounded through the walls. What the hell? Scouring the room, I looked for the speaker, hoping to block the noise, but my efforts were futile. I ran out of the study, but the din kept crashing through my skull, amplified worse from the bouncing off the hallway walls. Where is everyone? I instantly went to the foyer, but it was no use. The door was on, but it was still barricaded. What can I do? The noise was more severe in the foyer as it crashed off the walls and echoed through the main chamber. Ugh. My head was pounding. I could feel the vibrations in my body and my heart beating in my ears. Turning away from the main doors, I saw shadowy movement at the top of the stairs. Hey! The shadow disappeared. I mustered out the crowd for attention, but it was drowned out by the noise. Speeding up the stairs, the shadow was nowhere to be seen. Shoot, where'd they go? I peeked through the glass doors of the closest room, the spa lounge, and spotted Pandora reclined in one of the lounge chairs. Ah, finally, someone to help me with this horrible situation. I threw the door wide open and rushed in. The music persisted as echoes of its beat flooded into the circular chamber. But Pandora, what's going on? I can't find anybody. Uh-oh, no way, no reaction. Pandora? No. I closed the door. No, no, no! I knew it had to be her. I felt it. Oh no. Time froze. No. My breath escaped me once more as I slowly came to realize what had happened. No. I felt my brother uncoiled as my eyes lay fixed on the stillness before me. What? No, no way, there's no way, there's no way. No, no, my daughters. Uh, uh, uh. There was no response from her. Pandora was dead. What? How? No, 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 no. It's not fair. Why? I darted out of the spa lounge, my eyes tearing through the hole as I screamed at the top of my lungs for help from anyone. Help! Two people swept at the sound of my voice. What is it? What is it? Stop making so much noise. The music is making enough of a racket. It's my daughter. She's... Where is she? We raced back to the spa lounge. Sergeant Cannon's eyes were bound immediately toward the horrific sight. A body has been discovered. Cannon gasped sharply and flinched, nearly toppling over backwards from the recoil. Cyrus's expression hardened. A quiet anger emanated from him. It's almost palpable in the air. I myself was completely drained. All I could do was stare in a cold silence. Finally, the music ceased and a new announcement began. Ding dong, ding dong. At last, a body has been discovered in the spa lounge. You will be granted a period of investigation, and we then will begin our class trial. Please accept this generous gift of a special report from the Monokuma file. It will be printed from the digital kiosk and it outlines details of our poor lost friend. You'll have to depend on solving this case, so get a crack on. The announcement cut out, allowing stiff apprehension to suffocate the scene. Investigation? They want us to investigate Pandora's dead body? And how dare that announcement call her a poor lost friend? It's their fault for forcing this game on us. Echo, please calm yourself. It appears we're being given an opportunity to right this wrong. It may be difficult to swallow, but this didn't just happen out of nowhere. Someone did this. A culprit. Huh? A culprit? It's only appropriate. The culprit we are seeking is the killer is responsible for Pandora's death. His voice was firm, but I could see him clenching his jaw and his eyebrows furrowed as he looked back at the body. Ken, however, stood unmoving. She neither moved nor spoke since I saw her flinch at the first sight. It's like she froze. Right. The door flew open suddenly, and I heard everyone clamoring at the spa lounge entry. Eek! Sai shrieked and immediately fainted. Sai! The room of the rest of the students made their way in, fright painting everyone's faces as they each caught sight of the spa's terrible centerpiece. Unbelievable. I can't believe that they would kill the person that makes food. Why would you kill the person that cooks your food? Like, she's the only person that's competent enough to cook a meal for us. I wish that the announcement was made in jest, but it appears I have been made a fool of for hoping. Oh. Ugh, this is too much. Why, Pandora? Why? Everyone seemed at a loss with good reason for sure. The announcement said we were given a peer investigation, but I couldn't help but think that it was such a detached request. Investigate the murder of our friend. Where would we even begin? Missy's commanding voice broke the silence. So, we've been instructed to investigate such a thing. The Monokuma file should tell all about the means of her death. But how do we even start? Does anyone know the first thing about investigating a dead body? No one spoke up, but Missy pressed on. All we can do is investigate to the best of our ability. If there's even a small trifling matter that plays into this, keep in mind. We need to put our best foot forward in investigation if we are to find this heartless culprit. I mean, the person is among us. The person is in the room with us. I have that feeling that this class trial may be an unforgiving scene. It's such a tragedy, dreadful more so, that we must be the ones to discover the culprit among us. Dun, 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 dun. Everyone was visibly stressed. We all stood some feet away from the body, afraid of approaching the reality of our situation. The air was thick with tension, but Ashley cut through. Missy's right. We need to get to the bottom of this. Someone killed our friend for some awful reason, if not the ultimate prize. Murder is murder. Someone dies at another's hand, and that life is taken away. One lives and one dies. There's no grey area about it. Ashley's eyes were fiery with intent. Someone here? She trailed off, but we could fill in the blanks on our own. She didn't dare to utter the idea that someone standing within our ranks did this. Did this? She marched over and gently laid her hand on Pandora's, clearing a moment of silence for her. The rest of the group was unnerved but silently agreed. Mercy and Ashley were stern, but they were right. I was shocked at the sight of Pandora's body, but I mostly felt sad. She looked peaceful, suspended in a newfound endless slumber. The longer I looked at Pandora, the more the suffocating melancholy in my heart grew. My heart ached to hear her voice again, to see her smile. She had so much life, and it was dashed away in an instant. I clung to whatever memories I had of her. I couldn't let her warmth, her love, her hope go unforgotten. Someone killed her. And we need to find out who. Not only for our peace of mind, but for Pandora's sake. Despite my fervor, I was still anxious about investigating her body. It was only natural. Just this morning, Pandora was so animated, sharing her breakfast pastries and getting along with everyone. But now all signs of life were erased, leaving a cold semblance of her person. I tried to work through the nerves by asking the others their thoughts on the situation. That is, if anyone had anything to say. Investigation. Time to investigate. Detective Tag is on the case. Okay, how are we getting sure? Okay, first things first, let's look at the file. The Monokuma file sheds some light on Pandora's death. It looks like a considerable amount has been conveniently omitted, or rather, the entire file has been paraphrased for the purpose of vagueness. May I take a look? Missy handed me a black postcard-sized sheet. Okay, let's see what we can learn. Wow, that's... She got strangled. Victim Pandora Esperia. Cause of death, victim suffered from strangulation. No further injuries detected. Who choked her? Why? Why? Oh, great. The victim's body was covered in the second floor of small lounge. Victim suffered strangulation. The estimate time of death was 16:05. No further injuries detected. Okay, so no struggle clearly. She just got choked. So it was strangulation. But is that all the information we have? Unfortunately, however, we have yet to inspect the scene itself. I trust none of the first witnesses shifted anything from around upon arrival. No, I didn't touch anything. I saw a body, ran out and yelled for help, which called Cyrus and Canyon. Neither of them approached her. Well, there's not much else we can do. I swallowed hard. I still wasn't ready to confront the body, but I steeled myself regardless. Something deep in my heart told me I needed to do this. Echo, I know what you're thinking. It's hard, but we need to face her. Yep, I agree. Ashley. Hey, let's go check the body. Okay, it's Pandora's body. Pandora's bracelet, formerly a rose gold color like my own, is now a vibrant neon pink. I guess it meant she's gone. As difficult as it is, we have to search the body and scene for clues. Nevertheless, Missy was having a hard time looking directly at Pandora's body. Do you notice anything odd? I briefly looked at Pandora's neck. Her neck seems to be in pretty bad shape. It looks red from some kind of stress. But other than that, I can't really figure out anything else out. The victim report? According to the Monokuma file, the cause of death states she suffered strangulation. Let's think about it. If she was strangled, with what did the culprit strangle her with? Good question. Do you think the culprit went to the climbing center and used a rope? Or perhaps they cruelly used their own bare hands? I shuddered at the thought. The fact that we had to think of how the culprit committed such a thing was unnerving. Okay. Let's check out the paper. There's a small scrap of paper in the pool. What's that? Not sure. Carefully fished out the scrap of paper, taking care not to tear it. It's the Kuma thing. It was soaked, causing the words to be completely illegible. Oh, it's impossible to read. Yeah, it's ruined. It almost fell apart in my hands. A note, perhaps? However, the writing is impossible to decipher at this point, but how could this refuse be remotely related to the case at hand? Don't know, it seems kind of out of place though. Remember the announcement from this morning said there was a special gift for whoever went to the atrium? That is correct. Is it possible that this note was the supposed special gift? I can't say it. However, I noticed the larger ink blots were vaguely in the shape of something I had seen before. I left the shreds of paper on the side of the pool. Okay, anything else? Anything else I can do? I guess time to discuss. Alright, time to question people. Who are we feeling to question? Let's question. Let's start with Cyrus and Cannon because they came quick. That means they could have come from the side. This is distressing to say the least. Nico, were you the first one here? Yeah, I didn't catch anyone on my way here though. I can't say I saw anyone suspicious who could have done this. You came pretty quickly after I shouted. Did you happen to see anyone? I can't say that I did. I was in the climbing center right next door too. Was Karen with you? She came at about the same time as you, if I recall correct. No, I was by myself. While I was in the climbing center, I left the door open if anyone wanted to join in the recreation. No one came by the center, and I didn't leave until I heard your voice. I ran to Karen shortly after in the hallway, just in front of the spa lounge. Weird. I didn't run into anyone on the first floor either, so whoever did it must have just vanished. That's unlikely. Regardless, how did the culprit give us the slip? Cyrus was grumbling to himself as he tried to organize the events past. Okay, first question, Cannon now. Don't talk to me. Cannon spoke through tightly gritted teeth. She looked disturbed. Great, so much for questioning. Okay, let's talk about the two smartest people in the room. Let's start with Lyle. Lionel, what are you thinking? If I'm being honest, I don't know. There's not a lot on the scene to dissect. The only thing that caught my eye was that shred of paper in the spa pool, but it's completely ruined. I expected a bit more keen observations from him, but even I was either stumped or too shocked to speak on the matter. Okay, time for mercy. I admit, this is nothing if not shocking to see. The words were unwavering, but Missy's voice was cracked and disjointed. Yeah, I can't believe it actually happened. It's inconceivable, and to Pandora nonetheless. She held together quite strongly. I'm certain your spirit would not even have been crushed by a game constructed of fear. Alas, there's no use thinking of hopeful hypotheticals now that this has occurred. Yeah, I was shaken at how articulate, even on the subject of death, Missy remained. Okay, let's talk to Art. He seemed sad. Ugh, I think I'm going to be sick. I rubbed his back as he took deep breaths. It'll be okay. Uh, uh. Art could barely eke out a word in his throat. Great. There's not much information I'm getting, and I don't think Say's gonna give me any questions either. He fainted as soon as she entered the spa lounge. Forte was kind enough to situate her in a spare chair off to the side to regain her strength. Great, not much things these people are saying. Okay, let's talk to Forte. Is it really possible that the music provoked murder? I can't wrap my head around music being used to motivate something so extreme. I agree, I cannot condone the vilifying of music. It's proven that music has therapeutic qualities, but conversely, select sounds have the ability to cause anxiety and other negative effects. In that case, maybe the motivating music was meant to make us stop thinking clearly. I definitely felt startled when it began. Perhaps the rhythm of music can affect your body. Given our experience with the motivating music, it was high-paced and likely used to cause, as the announcer said, blood-pumping excitement. I suppose its qualities could have been abused to activate a fight or flight response that would inevitably end up like this. Is that so? That wretched music was certainly irritating, but for someone to succumb and produce such an immense reaction to that end? To what end? Was the music really that motivating? And last but not least, Ashley. Wait, oops. And last but not least, Ashley. Echo? It's selfish, but after I heard the announcement, I was relieved to see you standing in the room. That said, Pandora didn't deserve this. No one deserves this. I just hope she didn't suffer. Ashley fell silent and stared at our lost friend. I had never seen Ashley so distraught. As everyone. Great, that's all the information. Continue. After investigating Pandora's body, I felt an exhaustion like none other. Never in my life did I think I would be experiencing something like this. The weight of the shock and melancholy of it all bore heavy on my shoulders. Is there nothing else we can do? I wonder, did anyone see anything else suspicious on their way over here? We all looked at one another, but no one replied. Everyone was understandably on edge. Of course, no one wanted to talk. It appears we've exhausted all avenues of investigation here. Such a lackluster amount of clues doesn't bode well for us. Yes, but if we've done all we can looking into the scene, there's nothing left but to discover Pandora's killer. Of course, that's easier said than done. Griff, I heard Cannon grumbling in the corner. She seemed distressed. Alright, I think I've given you all enough leeway to get yourself together. So it's time for the. We're doing this now? I don't even have. I barely know anything. So it's time for the class trial. I hope you have enough ammunition to shoot down the culprit. If not, then I guess you're all out of luck. There is an elevator in the main foyer that will cruise you all down to the special class trial courtroom. If you don't assemble in the elevator quickly, I'll send out a radio transmission that will release the toxic gas in your bracelets. You want to find out who did it, right? You don't want your lives to end before you've even had the chance to defend yourselves, right? All that and more will be available for your group in the courtroom. Let's get a move on. I'll be seeing you shortly. The announcement went out as quickly as it came. So, this is really happening. The group shifted around anxiously. Well, what are we waiting for? Ashley took the first strides out of the room, but not without giving Pandora one last somber look from the doorway. Porter gently eased Say awake, turning her gaze from the unsightly scene and helping her as she hobbled out. One by one, the others vaulted out of the spa lounge. I stood back for a moment to take one last look at Pandora. I'm so sorry. How could this happen? We all stepped into the large elevator. We all stepped into the large elevator and began the dark descent into the supposed courtroom. How could this happen? The elevator sailed noisily forward our unknown destination, and for what felt like an eternity, silently we stood, and no one did speak. I had a lump in my throat from the anxiety, the fear, the sadness. My stomach was knotted, my head dizzy, my heart aching. The spa lounge we were meant to investigate came short of any useful clues. We were only able to procure two traces of evidence, one fact of which was already stated simply in the victim report, and the other was a secret note that only few were aware of. Nervous was an understatement. I was at a complete loss. The elevator eventually slid to a standstill, shaking me from my thoughts. Oh, they have a picture of a frame. They have a picture of a frame, dude. That's just not nice. The doors opened to reveal our rendezvous point. The spacious domed, C-shaped room was topped with a glass ceiling, a third of the foundation revealing the sunset sky outside our confines. The walls themselves were barren and simple, and a matte navy blue with a rim light illuminating the room. Hanging on the wall across the room was a grim picture frame representing Pandora, her profile very crudely stricken with a violent pink X. That's not nice, man. The picture frame was positioned so that it was looking almost hauntingly over a circular group of podiums. It was a bleak place. To think there was a dedicated location for whatever was about to occur. Just where were we? Welcome one and all to the trial grounds. The stands before you will be the key locale for today's trial. So let's see some hustle, people. The announcement was much more imposing in the courtroom, echoing through the dome chamber, each reverberation almost pushing us into place. We steadily settled in and stood in place. As the stands, we were placed in a circular fashion. Our faces, our fears, and our emotions were exposed to one another. The atmosphere, thick with anxiety, was palpable and crushing. I could feel my heavy heart pounding in my head. My palms were sweaty, yet I could feel a dreadful eerie chill go up my spine. I tried to be strong, but my knees were weak, my breath short. We were here because of one unmistakable fact. Someone killed her. Pandora Espere, the ultimate baker, a gentle and caring person who wanted nothing more than to share her good spirit and delectable treats with people. This is making me sad. This is actually making me sad. They're painting such a good light. She's such a nice person. Who would do this? This is someone here was responsible for her death. This is making me sad. And the only thing that kept me standing firm was the drive to figure out who heartlessly ended her life. A light began to flicker weakly from the center of the circle of stands. The flickering gained strength as a shape began to take form within the light. Something like the shape of a person began to appear. Wahaha! Welcome one and all. Welcome to the courtroom. Who are you? What is that? Who am I? What is that? Answers to those questions don't matter too much. Besides, I think you ought to have more pressing questions than something super bad has transpired. All you really need to know is that I'm your lovely judge for this trial. Okay, maybe I'm not the real certified judge or whatever, but I will be the one passing judgment on what happens today and after each subsequent murder to come. Judge, but not really a judge. It's too long and confusing to address me, so you may call me Zero. The hologram of a person named Zero presented itself, giving a face to the voice of our killing game announcer. After the trial. Okay. Detective Tag. Gotta solve this. Without further ado, I take it you all know what you're here for. Geez, you're quite bunch, aren't you? You're all here to suss out who done it. In other words, you're all on trial to figure out who the culprit of today's heinous crime is. Do you think you could just get away with murder and win the prize? Nah, it's not that simple. The rule goes as follows: discuss, discover, and determine who the culprit is among your group. The majority vote will seal the individual's fate, and we'll just see what happens from there. Yeah, one of your outcomes will occur: determine and vote incorrectly, and the entire class is executed, with the culprit alone able to walk free and win the ultimate prize. That's the ideal endgame for the culprit. Determine and vote correctly, and the culprit alone will receive proper retribution and perish at the hands of your group decision. Phew, you just might love to see another day. Our victim today is Pandora Espere, the ultimate baker. A sweet young lady who could do nothing wrong, or could she? Well, people can surprise you. So with that out of the way, get to talking. Who exactly are you? What? You're still asking that even though I introduced myself all nice? You should have bigger concerns than that. Talk about the murder. I can't believe who did it. Isn't your top priority right now? Oh no. Huh? No one wants to talk? Need I remind you, your lives are kind of on the line. If none of you start talking, you'll default to having lost the trial and you'll all be executed. You don't want that, do you? Executed? What does that mean? The dictionary's definition of execute, to carry out a sentence of death. It's really quite simple. On the other hand, it makes my job easier. I don't have to listen to bad deductions. On the other hand, I'd be terribly bored of this game. Didn't go past the first chapter. Wahaha. Everyone, please, we need to discuss who could have possibly done the unthinkable. As trifling or even irrelevant as something may be, if you have any concerns about the case, speak now. Come on, we need to start talking. We need to solve this. It's scary. Say, are you okay? Say, please don't push yourself. Yes, thank you. If you want to talk, if you want us to talk, I'll talk. I'll talk about how scared I am. I just want to go home. I can't get used to anything around here. I don't know any of you people. And then someone gets killed? Ugh. Say, I understand it's difficult, but discussing our friend's death is necessary to ensure we don't find a similar fate ourselves. At the very least, we can try to remember our lost moments with her. That Zero is right. We don't want to go down without a fight, right? Why don't we begin with Pandora's last known whereabouts? The silence in the room was oppressive. A trial to defend ourselves. Why did I need to defend myself if I know for a fact that I would never kill her? Regardless, no one knew where to start. Well then, I shall begin. Last I saw her, we were sharing a quiet breakfast. I can back that. The group was composed of Art, Echo, Missy, Pandora, and myself in the dining hall from about 7:40 am to 10 am. After that, we all kinda went our own way. I went around the mansion with Echo to talk to the others who weren't at breakfast. Who did we see again, Echo? Art doesn't recall the people who visited after breakfast. Let's see, we met with... Oh, okay. Is this the... Wait, is the order we went in? We never seen Ashley, so that's one option out. We've seen Saint Mercy, so it was Save, Cannon, Forte, and Lyle. Oh yeah! Those people were Save, Cannon, Forte, and Lyle. And we asked them about their talents. That's right, but then we were touring the mansion, we met with those four and no one else. The only ones we didn't see after breakfast were Pandora and Ashley. I mean, we met with Pandora when we were talking to Cannon, but she didn't stick around long. She said she had somewhere to be and left to go who knows where. So there's a period of time in which no one saw Pandora last. Is that correct? The window apparently began being somewhere between 10 am to approximately 4 pm. Can anyone else provide their whereabouts in that approximate time frame? I was alone in the study for a good portion of the afternoon. I went to the theater at about 2:30 pm. Oh, you must have left just before I went in. I went to study at 3 pm. I spent my time in my personal room. I wasn't in one place. I was investigating the mansion until 3, that is. I met up with Art for a little bit and eventually landed in the jazz club right before 4. I was regaling myself with the amenities in the theater for much of the afternoon. I was in my room too. After I had a meal with Art and Echo, I went back and didn't leave at all. I was at the atrium for a while. It looks like no one has a particular strong alibi except Art and Echo who can vouch for each other until 3 pm. What does that mean? It means that since many of us were acting on our own for an extended period of time, Our whereabouts can be heavily doubted. Anyone could have lied about their activity and instead set up some sort of trap to get rid of Pandora, since no one saw each other. So we're all suspicious? It's difficult to narrow down who is potentially suspicious on these claims alone. Let's calm down and think thoroughly. Why don't we move to the top? Why don't we move the topic to the false motive question? The question, along with the motivation music, was provided to push someone to commit a crime. We ought to figure out what about the question would have caused such distress. The false motive question? A small group of us talked about it briefly this morning over breakfast, but ultimately we couldn't figure out the purpose of the question. Why don't we discuss the purpose now that everyone is present? Discussion time. Okay. The purpose of the first false motive question. The question was, are your talents a true representation of who you are? Who are you beyond your talent? What could it mean? I should pay attention to statements that might sound interesting. A question to provoke killing? It makes no sense. How could a simple question make us do something as extreme as end someone's life? This morning we speculated that sharing the question behind our talents would only create a greater bond. Did I actually do it? Greater bond? Echo, I believe you led our discussion this morning. You should be well versed in what everyone had to say and the consensus we came to. That's right. We all shared our thoughts and agreed nothing we said struck anyone as strange. The purpose of the first motive question. The question returns, okay. What could it mean? I should pay attention to statements that might sound interesting. Okay. So I'm guessing I just point out stuff, okay. I am be inclined to agree with that conclusion. It only makes sense after all. But it's also possible that it's a tactic used to instill distrust and cause discord. What about that? Tell me about that. What do you mean by distrust, Ash? Let's say someone didn't want to talk about their talent, despite the talent being something they highly lauded. If someone wouldn't want to talk about such an unamusing topic, the resistance should be suspicious, right? But just because someone's talent is public knowledge, it doesn't necessarily mean the individual's life and practice behind it should be public as well. Ash, you keep your talent unknown to me for whatever reason. Are you saying you want me to believe you're suspicious? Of course not. How could you even say that? Did you ask someone about the false motive question and not get an answer? No, I just didn't want to bother anyone with such a potentially loaded question. Is my talent a true representation of who I am? I never thought about my talent as a representation of me. It was simply a hobby that spiraled into something incredulous. I never would have thought racing would lead me to end up in such a strange mess. Sorry to press you so hard, Ash. Art asked me if I knew anything about your talent and I couldn't properly answer him. That said, I think this conversation eventually proved your point that it could cause discord. There's connection even between us, or there's contention even between us. That's alright. I'm sorry if keeping it a secret hurt you, Echo. I didn't mean to tie you up in such complications. It's not so complicated. You're my friend. If anything hurts, it's the fact that I burdened you with this topic. Well, that's the purpose of discussion, isn't it? To bring ideas and theories to light? And I don't suppose I just performed an example of the question causing such an altercation. Consent? What's the... What? What? I got consent? What does that mean? Oh, wasn't that something? Best friends reconciling their differences for the sake of proving a point? I suppose every discussion has to start somewhere. Okay, as you were. Right, thank you for that bookend, Zero. In that case, what if the question posed was meant to make us look at ultimate students' talents as an ends justifies the means product? A mean justifies served with what? The end justifies the means. A saying in which a result is deemed so important that any method, morally good or bad, may be used to achieve it. In that case, I believe that what Echo is saying is regardless how someone achieves such advanced talent or what the person is like behind it is meaningless in the grand scheme of having an ultimate title. After all, didn't we all sign up for the preservation project knowing full well that we needed to be an ultimate title? An ultimate title, a precariously valuable title someone receives for super excelling in their field of expertise. But what does this possibly have to do with Pandora getting killed? There's no way anyone was like jealous of her talent or something was there. We were all strangers before meeting in the scary place anyway. I fully want to believe. I want to believe we all got along well with her. We all got along with each other, in fact. Without the killing game pressure, I don't see how anyone could possibly harbor any ill will. Nah, someone has gotta hate her. What? What? I'm bored. You weren't talking about anything interesting, so I thought I'd throw you all a bone to get the ball rolling a little faster. Not one single person is going to be loved by everyone. It's just not possible. How could you say that? She did nothing but show kindness and warmth toward everyone. Pandora only ever wanted to share good food with good friends. Yes, she always worked tirelessly to bring us together with her delicacies. Blah. Oh, good show, everyone. You all such great actors. I guess it's been fun watching, but the discussion isn't really going anywhere. Oh ho ho. I'll just put an end to this now. This case, this trial, it's all an elaborate ARG scheme. Lyle, it's all an act. The reason why there's so few clues is just a way to save resources. Imagine if the folks setting up the game had to use a bunch of fake blood to create the scene. Though I suppose for the sake of entertainment, such systems exist to waste resources. Lyle, what are you talking about? Pandora isn't dead. She can't be. Nothing adds up. But I suppose if you want me to keep playing, I'll say this. Let's think about who was on the scene. Don't burn it on me. Don't point your finger at me. Let's think about who was on the scene first. If I recall correctly, it was Echo, wasn't it? Bro, why? Why? Don't blame me. Yeah, I saw Pandora's body first, then I called for help, which made Cyrus and Cannon arrive shortly after. Okay, easy. The culprit is one of you three. No, don't. It can't be. Surely it can't be. What? On what grounds do you think you can speculate that? Pandora's supposed time of death was 4 or 5, right? I'll set the scene. We're just minding our own business in the mansion, not knowing what's to come. Soon some nasty music starts playing, one of you three starts getting stressed out, so you strangle the first person you see. How else could we narrow down the culprit? There has to be someone who was near the scene after 4 PM, and that person couldn't have gotten far after escaping the crime scene. In my opinion, a motivation to cure a less stress from music is kind of shoddy writing, but at least there was an attempt. Lau keeps going on about the killing game being an ARG, but her death seems so real. Oh, wait, doesn't that mean everyone's alibis from earlier don't amount to anything? Bingo! I believe you all discussed your whereabouts up to approximately 3 PM latest, but no one has said anything from then to 4 PM when the music started. The critical moment to consider is the time just before the murder occurred, obviously. If someone off Pandora via a gift strangulation and made their getaway, it's not likely the culprit would have gotten far from then and when Echoes supposedly discovered the body. So with the window of action narrowed down to between 4 and 4 or 5, does anyone care to share their newly updated whereabouts? Okay, I was in the library. Where were we? Where we all were in the approximate time around 4 PM leading up to the motivational music. If we follow through with our speculation, we might glean some information that will help us. After hanging out with Lyle, I went to the atrium. The music was blasting in there. Okay. I can't push anything. Did you run to the atrium when the music started playing? No, I was already around the area after hanging out with Lyle. Why would I go to the giant room that echoes to avoid the horrible music? Okay. Go through. I guess the better idea is to still go through everyone, like read things first before pointing out. Okay, Mercy was that's true. I thought Forte and I could go backstage and control the sound system, but our attempts were futile. I was in a room still hiding under the covers. I told you I was in the foyer leading up to the music. It was noisy, sure, but nothing I couldn't deal with. I was in the jazz club. I told Echo earlier as well. I was in the climbing center and saw no one suspicious dart past the open door. Like I say, I was in my room too. Okay, I gotta stop racing through things. Okay, so let's think. I guess the most suspicious thing is Cannon. Actually, no, I think it's okay. I was gonna say Cannon, but I'm gonna trust. Let's see if Lyle is. Wait a minute, Lyle. I know for a fact that the jazz club is soundproof. That's right. When I attempted to play the cello yesterday, you and Cyrus were just outside the jazz club in the hallway. Neither of you seemed to have any reaction when we came out shortly after. That means it's possible Lyle is exempt from hearing the motivational music. Does it? I suppose you're onto something. I admit, I don't even know what the motivational music sounds like, but what's confluence? But nothing. That's an awfully peculiar situation you've put yourself in now. Sure, it's odd, but what's strange is still is how did Lau know about the motivational music if he never heard it? The kiosks. Remember they translate sound to text, but this time I saw only a message. It said something like preserving the atmosphere of the room. Zero. What's up? You're the judge of the trial, but you are also the announcement operator outside these walls. I assume you can assist us with something critical like this. Can you tell us what the kiosk message said in specific? Your current room is a special room that blocks all outside sound to preserve the atmosphere of the room. Please enjoy to your heart's content. I didn't write that, by the way. So you're saying we could have avoided the noise entirely? Isn't that too convenient? Wait a minute. In that case, what if Lau is the one who killed Pandora? What? Didn't I just say that it was the music that would have provoked someone to kill her? I was in the jazz club. I didn't even hear the music. Therefore, I wouldn't have felt the motivation to move. No, you could have killed her in the jazz club and moved her body to the spa lounge. That would explain the lack of clues in the spa lounge. This is troublesome. Did any of us investigate the jazz club afterwards? No, I was so shocked from seeing the body that I didn't even think about looking elsewhere. I think we all were just as astonished as soon as we heard the body discovery chime. So perhaps Lal counted on the fact that and did it in. So perhaps Lal counted on that fact and did in fact kill her in the jazz club. He doesn't have an alibi for a large portion of the afternoon anyway. Saying something like scouting the mansion for clues, he could have spent the whole day unsupervised plotting the terrible thing that ended Pandora's life. Hey, haven't you heard the phrase extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence? Well, that's not out of the question. After all, the ultimate puzzle master could have set up something elaborate, so elaborate that the answer to this murder puzzle goes right over our head. That can't be possible. I was in the climbing center, which is between the spa lounge and the jazz club. If I committed the crime in the jazz lounge, I would have plainly witnessed the change of scene. You very well could have constructed an alibi to assist Lau in his dark activity. No, why on earth would I lie about such a thing? Settle down. Yelling at each other with hypotheticals isn't getting us anywhere. Agreed. If it'll quell Saiyan Forte's worries, let's tackle the initial theory and go from there. Saiyan Forte are wrapped up in the possibility of Lau killing Pandora in the jazz club. Is it worth discussing? I mean, if we still confirm that he didn't do it, I think it's worth talking. Just to be safe. We shouldn't leave anything to doubt. If Lau isn't the culprit, then he shouldn't have any problems clearing the air. Are you kidding me? Fine. What would my motive be for killing her? I didn't hear the motivational music, so that's out of the question. I didn't speak to her about the false motive question since I haven't seen her all afternoon. So tell me, based on my lack of time around Pandora, do I even have any clear reason to get rid of her? Heck. Oh my stars. You all are so bad at this. What? I'll tell you all for certain that nothing happened in the jazz club. Huh? And I'm telling you this because you are all just awful at this whole trial thing. Huh. Geez, I guess this is what happens when there's no ultimate detective around, huh? And your ultimate photographer is so quiet. You all but drop dead at this point. If he did drop dead, you'd have to go through another trial, and I don't think I have the patience to watch you run in circles at this rate. Alright, since this is clearly going nowhere, allow me to throw you a bone. There's something strange about that note in the spa pool, don't you think? Yeah, it's the normal note, it's the Kuma note. Now, very convenient we managed to redirect the conversation from the piece of evidence on the scene. I'll let you all think up for yourselves. The note. The note must have something to do with Pandora's murder, but what? I'm certain Art and Lau know something about it since Lau brought it up with us, but... Hello? What's with all this today? Don't you want to talk anymore? You don't want everyone to die without giving the trial your best shot, do you? Like, are any of you even trying to save yourselves? Maybe I should stop giving you these opportunities. courtroom fell silent. It seemed we all neglected the gravity of the situation, or although we were avoiding it. It's just, nothing felt real. Pandora's death, her body hardly showed any signs of injury. It was like she was asleep. It's as if we all wanted to forget the reality of the topic at hand, which was that someone had killed our friend. We kept dodging and darting around the main issue. Yes, as painful as it is, we must discuss the murder. It may seem hopeless at the moment, since we don't have much information to work with, but clues will reveal themselves as we bring about certain topics to light. So, don't hold your tongue. We must do this to save ourselves. Then, I'll start with the cause of death. From there, it'll probably be easier to reason out potential culprits. According to the Monokuma file, it was strangulation. Can we identify what she was strangled with? We ought to touch upon the possibilities. It may be difficult to think about, but no one said such a fight would be easy. Okay, let's figure out what she was choked with. Just what was Pandora strangled with? Is there something we're missing? I think it might have been a rope from the climbing center. It's horrifying to think about, but perhaps the culprit used their own hands. Let's narrow our thoughts and eliminate things that would be unlikely. We also ought to think about what in the spa lounge could be used. Okay, let's start with the spa lounge. Because I don't think it's the climbing room, because Guy, I can't remember his name, Guy was in there. So I think it's something in the spa lounge. Yeah, Cyrus was in there, so I think it's something in the spa lounge. What in the spa lounge could be used? If you consider the following. The climbing center and jazz club were preoccupied by one person each, neither the occupants or anyone else during the stay. And the killing occurred soon after 4 PM music, so it's unlikely the culprit could have only used whatever was available on location. What if anything could be used? Think. What is the murder weapon? Is it one of those strings? Oh! What is the murder weapon? Is it the thing that glows pink when I touch it? Could it be... Echo, are you onto something? I think so. You brought up a good line of thought that made me rethink the scenario. If I recall seeing something that might answer your questions. Consent. I believe the culprit may have used the towel to strangle her. It's an unamusing object, isn't it? Of course, there are going to be towels in the spa lounge, so the culprit took advantage of the location and utilized the tools available. The tool being the very towel she was resting her head on. Then they must have strangled her by wrapping the towel around her neck and pulling until she stopped struggling. And breathing altogether. It would explain the lack of fingernails dug in, as well as explain why I didn't see anyone near the climbing center in the event the rope was used. It might just be conjecture, but it's the best thing we have so far. But there's something bothering me. If I may, what I don't get is, why was my daughter seemingly so relaxed in the spa? She was reclined and there weren't any signs of struggle in the whole room. There must have been the obnoxious music playing in the spa too, so I doubt she would have stayed. That's strange indeed. I certainly couldn't concentrate on the climbing grips once it started. The music was so annoying. I didn't know it was playing until I was outside. More importantly, Echo, did you bonk your head or something? The spa lounge is soundproof. Huh? Well, I guess that makes sense since I threw the door open upon entering. Hang on, what? The lounge is soundproof? Whoops, was that not common knowledge? Hold it, explain yourself. Does it have any relevance to the trial? If the spa lounge is soundproof, and the motivational music was playing throughout the rest of the mansion, whoever was in the spa lounge with Ventura must not have been aware of the music. Zero, I noticed in your kiosk message you didn't specify which room was soundproof. It simply said your current room is a special room. Is that correct? I said I didn't write that. But yes, I guess it did say that, didn't it? Look, fine. Yes, all second floor rooms are soundproof. Happy? Wait, that means that the climbing room... No, there's no way. Because... Is it Cyrus? Because Cyrus said that he couldn't... Oh no. All second floor rooms? In that case, wouldn't Pandora have been completely relaxed and unaware of the motivational music when it started at 4 PM? Wait, that's right. No, not the atrium, but it's more of a giant hall than a room. No closed doors or anything, you know. I wasn't unaware. I left the climbing center's doors open during my stay. So it's not just a jazz club. We probably assumed the jazz club alone was soundproof because people were performing there. Now it has been revealed that Ventura was working in the spa lounge, relaxed and completely unaware of the music, presumably far before it started playing in the first place. And even when it did begin, she would have been undisturbed by it due to the soundproof quality of the spa lounge. Just a minute. That means the motivational music had nothing to do with provoking someone to kill her. What? Echo? You have an idea of what provoked the person, don't you? You've had this look on your face since this afternoon. It's the note, isn't it? You've seen it before. In fact, you saw it before I brought it up with you and Aunt. Finally, talking about the note. Yes, I've seen it before. Pandora herself showed it to me last night. Pandora? But how did she see it? Lal said it was the announced special gift from this morning. I lied about that. There was no special gift. If someone did show up, I was just going to call them a chump personally. I'm actually also perplexed as to where that came from. Although, maybe I shouldn't complain. The note has made things very interesting. Wahaha. What is this note you're all talking about? Remember that scrap of paper we found in the spa pool? Yes, it was soaked beyond legibility. That's the note we're talking about, namely a note to be kept in secrecy. I remember it said, if you recognize one of the symbols depicted, then you have found me and yours, and are safe. Please do not speak of this note's existence. Trust no one but yourself. It had two emblems on it, as the note references, and I saw one of those emblems on that shred of red paper in the spa pool. Pandora was in possession of such a dangerous, suspicious thing. The culprit must have saw that she had the note on hand and threw it in the pool to soak and destroy it. You're probably afraid of the ramification of protecting the recipient and what effect it could have on the rest of us in the killing game. You probably thought that whoever is in possession of the note must be linked to the game itself. Then wouldn't the culprit be one of the few who knew of the note's existence? That's right, she reacted when Zero first mentioned it. Say, you reacted when Zero mentioned the note earlier. Have you seen the note before? I, I, I have never seen it. I see. But how could that be? Rahul said he saw Say go into the pantry and after she left, he saw the note. Before the trial, the only ones who could have seen it were Say, Lau, Echo, and me, right? If the ATM special gift was a lie, then what's the secret note being in the pantry earlier this afternoon? I imagine Midori herself must have left it there, seeing as she was utilizing the ingredients from a pantry to make breakfast this morning. She just left it there? Then why is this a similar note in the spa pool? She couldn't have left it out of her possession if it's supposed to be a note to be kept in secrecy. Wait a minute. There, then there are two notes. Then are there two notes? But we still don't know where the notes came from in the first place. Ah, none of these random details are making any sense. I'm also having a hard time sorting out the relevant information. Indeed, it's becoming difficult to define what is truth, what happened when, and why things are as they are. Can't we try to lay down a timeline of events? That could clear our heads and straighten things out, if anything. A timeline of events. Yes, I think that could help. I noticed a handful of discrepancies that could use clearing up. Perhaps I ought to make the events back. I ought to take the events back to last night when Ventura showed me the secret note. The note seems to be the biggest complication. Ventura pulled me aside to show me the secret note at. It was 9 p.m., right? Because I think the announcement said it was 9 p.m. No, the lights started to dim during our conversation. Lights dimming indicates nighttime, which isn't at 9 p.m. Is it 10 p.m.? That's it. Okay. Yes, it was 10 p.m. I remember the lights started to dim during our conversation, indicating the start of nighttime. The following morning, which was earlier today, we can assume Pandora must have been up earlier than everyone else and began preparing breakfast for us. A small group of us had breakfast and conversed about the force motive question rang at 9 a.m.? That's right. The force motive question announcement rang in at 9 a.m. We briefly touched on the topic, but ultimately didn't feel any motivation to conduct any sort of killing, likely to the chagrin of the announcer. Afterwards, I planned to go back to my room, but Aunt stopped me and we went around asking the other students about the question. We were preoccupied with asking around until 3 p.m. Yes, that's it. But before 3, Arthur and I ran into Lau as he was going to his room. We talked to him a little bit about the question, but he had little to say about the matter. During our conversation, he brought to our attention the secret note, the same secret note Pandora had the night before. Lau claimed that someone had left the note in the pantry. That's right. And the person who was lost in the pantry before him was Say. That's it. Lau claims he saw Say scurry from the second floor atrium to the pantry and back out again. After Lau showed us on the door and the secret note, Arthur and Lau went off on their own, and I went to the study at 3 p.m. While I was in the study, another announcement rang in and started playing some sort of jarring motivational music that once again attempted to start the killing. The motivational music began at 4 p.m. That's right. I recall the announcer saying this during the time. I ran out of the room in a panic, trying to find any of the other students. From the atrium, I saw a shadowy figure at the top of the stairs. I followed him but lost track of him, which instead led me to discover Pandora's body. If only I was able to keep up with the shadowy figure, perhaps this trial would have been over sooner. But it's strange. I couldn't seem to add anything up despite how much we knew. Or rather, perhaps there was some other unforeseen force factor in that contributed to Pandora getting killed. That'd be something else. Something missing. I felt an uneasy anticipation tugging at me, something willing me to continue the pursuit of whatever force caused the mess. I had tried. Uncovering the truth was more difficult than I thought, but Pandora would tell me not to give up. I had tried to narrow down where the strange factor's weak point was. I thought about the scenario from the starting point of when the note was revealed, since it was a topic of contention. Perhaps I ought to think backwards from Pandora's death to see if there were any holes. Going backwards, Pandora was killed in the spa lounge, correct? Okay, yes. There weren't any signs of her body being moved, but before she was killed, most Pandora speculated stayed in the spa lounge, relaxed. We are able to assume she was relaxed in the spa lounge because the lounge is soundproof. We learned the spa lounge had soundproof qualities. If Pandora was in there with the door closed, she would likely not have been disturbed. Wait a minute. When I first entered the spa lounge, I was initially under the impression that there was more motivational music playing within. Little did I know, it was only playing because I had thrown the door open, ruining the soundproof quality of the room. However, someone noted that they were unaware of the music until they moved from one area to the next. The fact is, the climbing center and jazz club had already occupied, and neither Cyrus nor Lau claimed they were with company. The person could have left the only remaining room that shared soundproof quality of the other two. While Pandora seemed so relaxed in the spa, she reclined, and there weren't any signs of a struggle in the whole room. There must have been the obnoxious music playing in the spa too, so I doubt she would have stayed. That's strange indeed. I certainly couldn't concentrate on the climbing grips once it started. The music was so annoying. I didn't know it was playing until I was outside. More importantly, Echo, did you bonk your head on something? The spa lounge is soundproof. There it is. Who was behind the spa lounge and motivational music discrepancy? Is it art? Yeah, because you see, he didn't notice until he was outside. But the atrium is soundproof. By making a remark of the change between locations, the culprit could have only been in the spa lounge before the motivational music. By that logic, the culprit must have shared the room with the victim. Is that true? Did I do it right? Everyone, I think I have the full picture. What was with you? You were totally spaced out for a second. Be quiet, you. Oh, yes, ma'am. Echo, was there something we were missing? Yeah, I think something might have slipped right under us. We've been looking at this under the guise that the motivational music had everything to do with the murder. However, there's a discrepancy in that thinking. Pandora was never exposed to it, yet she wound up victim to the effects of it. As we discussed and discovered, all second floor rooms are soundproof from outside. From outside knows when the door is closed. Case in point, Cyrus leaving the climbing center doors open and loud undisturbed in the jazz club. But then I noticed, someone said something strange. They mentioned they weren't aware of the music either. That is, until they exited a presumably soundproof room. Neither Cyrus nor Loud ever encountered anyone during their stay. So by process of elimination, the only room this person could have exited would be the spa lounge. I don't know if anyone else picked up on it, but I think I know who the culprit is. What? What? Did you kill Pandora? What? What? Hang on. That can't be. Please yield. Echo, this thought of yours. It's awfully bold of you to point the finger at someone so conclusively. Well, it's only a shade of an idea, but it's the only piece that fits. If you put the timeline together beginning from when Art and I separated at 3 p.m., it's not unreasonable to assume that this crime was conducted during a smaller window after Art and Lau separated and before the motivational music. It's been stated several times that. Let me read. What? You were just going to listen to that tiny impossible statement? What? Say something. Don't let them tell you what's what. It's nonsense. What? In fact, you was with me in the jazz club until 4 p.m. Yeah, isn't that right? Now, you must know that we are beyond the veil of smoke and mirrors at this point. What are you implying? It's far too late for you to defend him. If you two were together, it would have been mentioned ages ago. The shadow I saw at the top of the stairs. It must have been Art fleeing the spa lounge toward the atrium. He must not have known there was distressing music playing outside the spa. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let slip that he noticed a shift in music when leaving the spa after the fact. Now, please think about the events in your head. As much as I hate to admit it, there's only one answer I can think of. Even though this is all speculative, and I want nothing more than not to believe it, this is the only ammunition we have. Art, we're your friends, aren't we? Please, if we are wrong, just tell us we are wrong. If this is all untrue, we can put this debacle behind us. Don't doubt. You did it, Echo? Do you remember what I told you when I asked me what about the fourth motive question? Yeah. I recall you said you like playing golf, but you haven't expanded your interests outside of golfing. Yeah, it's because they would never let me. It's a terrible existence, being the ultimate golfer for them. All day I stand around the sun, listening to jokes pitch false interests and crummy business ideas to each other. I'm not playing golf. I'm just there to look good while the suits are off playing corporate deception and back scratching. They made me hate golf. So that motive question, it made me think about what I was doing. I wasn't having fun anymore, you know? Even though I'm great at it, I'm the ultimate golfer. Even if that's the question, I didn't feel like me anymore. It's weird. I've had more fun here, hanging out with everyone, not indulging my talent, even though it's the thing that landed me here in the first. I kept thinking about the FMQ, about how I hate this part of me that blessed me with an opportunity to hang out with all you fun people. Before I knew it, I went into the spa lounge for some peace and quiet. I thought no one was in there. But my daughter was there, quiet as a mouse. I didn't even notice her until I sat right next to her. She was so nice. And you killed her? Good afternoon, Art. Care to join me? Sure thing. Are you alright? I didn't scare you, did I? Oh no, I just, didn't notice you when I came in. You know how it is. It is somewhere else and all. I see. Art, may I ask something? What's up? I believe I heard about you influencing a merger between yours and our school. Am I correct? Yeah, that was a while ago. That's such an amazing accomplishment. I could only wish to achieve something half as grand as that. Oh, it's nothing. I hardly remember it. If you insist, it's nothing to sneeze at either. I'm sure the students of both schools have benefited greatly from the feat. Yeah, probably, but I wouldn't know. I only went to school for a year before I was pulled out to focus on golfing. I have a private tutor to cover the difference. Oh, that's quite a generous offer. I hope you can use your talents and position to help more people. I don't know if that's that big of a deal. I have faith in you, Art. In fact, I believe all of us have the ability to induce beneficial change like that if we're given the opportunity. Ultimate students, we have the power and passion and influence in our hands, just like them. I hope we all use it for the good of the future. I know we will. Yes, at last, I finally found them. I didn't know what to say. Power of passion? Influencing change isn't as rosy as she chalks it up to be. The only thing that my talent ever got me was trapped. I used to golf all the time with my grandfather before he passed away. After that, I was taken in by some company who would take care of me, 3 square meals, and a comfortable place to live. I always played perfect games, perfect but boring, day in and day out. It was the same thing. I thought I was there to show my skill, but every game was just an outside business conference. Eventually, I honed my skills enough to hit a hole in one, no matter what. I play short games no one could ever care to watch. But I ace it, and they love it. I work it, and they eat it up. At that point, they didn't care what I did. Using my talent for the good of the future? What about my future? What about my future? I didn't want to stay with that group for the rest of my life. I thought escaping to the preservation project would finally free me from that imprisonment. But everything's all messed up. When Pandora closed her eyes, I felt a burning. She said she found them. What was she talking about? It was obvious, right? I didn't know what to say. I just took the note she had and threw it in the pool. I wanted to go away. Then everything happened in slow motion. It was like my body had moved on its own. My head was ringing, my hands narrowed onto the towel on my shoulders, and everything was red. It was like there was a fire in my head. When I heard her gasp, my arms were tense, and eventually, I'm sorry. Oh, Aunt, how could you? I'm sorry, love. I was just trying to have fun with you earlier. Huh? My good-for-nothing talent made me despise golf. I've never had fun with it since people discovered they could use it before their business deals. Running around with you, figuring out a big puzzle, was the most genuine fun I've had in a while. Thanks, Al. What the? No way, no way. This isn't real. You're just part of the fake game, right? You didn't kill anyone. You're an actor. Tell me you're an actor and that the whole story was fake. Oh, tell me this isn't real. Bro, this is real. It was miserable. Like all of us, Lyle was struggling to come to terms with the fact that Aunt of all people. Lyle, is this the truth? We have a shred of evidence to go with the confession. I don't know if I can point out the culprit based on such little proof. Monsieur, you want to keep discussing even after his piteous confession? I'm able to have my doubts, am I not? I can't accept it, and I'm sure the rest of you are also having trouble just the same. Doubting is the only thing keeping me from fully realizing the weight of a lofty, impossible to swallow truth. If I can doubt, I can still cling to the possibility of Art not committing such a horrible crime. Mercy, you're deluding yourself with a false hope, just like the unfortunately guided Lyle. Such thinking is unsustainable. There's no need for doubt. Cannon? I have definitive proof. Cannon? It was small, but it was unmistakable. Art was seated in the base of the atrium centerpiece globe, with his hands in his head. With his head in his hands. The photo looked to be shot from the second floor entryway. That means the shadowy figure I saw was. That was me, following Art as he fled from the spa lounge. Huh? I was in the foyer, remember? So when I saw Art emerge from the spa lounge, I went to tell him, following him as far as the entrance to the atrium. Then I heard you shout for help, and I did an about face, like, little did I know, I would stumble upon the very thing he was hiding from. What the heck is this? Canyon sure is a weird photographer, so does that settle your doubt, monsieur? But why wait to reveal such damning evidence? You think I want his blood on my hands? If I present this photograph, we'd know the culprit for certain thanks to me, because I'm always unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the right time. I don't want to hear that weight on my conscience. I know it's selfish, but take it or leave it. Then, I suppose it's settled. If we can agree this is unquestionably the truth, there's no room for doubt. It seems you all come to a consensus. In that case, it's voting time. This is the final phase of the class trial. Vote for who you think is the culprit. After all the jabbering, you better have a solid answer. Don't let any of that sentimental doubt or faith or whatever keep you from saving yourselves. It's voting time. Vote. Oh, I get to vote too. Can I vote? Imagine I just voted this person. Wow. Who to vote? One person. Oh, a second relate. It's gonna land on Art anyway. This feels so sad. Guilty. Oh no, Art, why? And we have a winner! The culprit responsible for the murder of Pandora Spirit is none other than the ultimate golfer, Arturo Campopiano. Oof, took long enough. Let's try to do better next time, alright? But for now, it's time for the grand finale. You've reached your exciting destination. At the end of our first cross tile, this destination is punishment time. Are we gonna play an animation for this? Uh-oh. Punishment time? Well, yeah. Eye for an eye, right? He was caught. Too bad. Recap Rule 5. To expedite the process toward the ultimate prize, one must kill a fellow student without being caught. Oh, but what happens when they do get caught? Recap trial rules. Determine them correctly and the culprit alone will receive proper retribution and perish at the hands of your group decision. It's bizarre. If it weren't for Echo's conveniently specific memory and Cannon's terrible luck pulling her to witness him, what might have gotten away? Do you have anything to say for yourself, Ochiro Piano? Aw, don't be sad. This is what the Preservation Project wanted, isn't it? To kill and live on. To prove your strength about other ultimates. What? You think you're going to live on? Whoops. You clearly don't have the emotional constitution to carry the people's future. What? No. You let your fears and anxieties eat you until you broke. Stop. Why? I'm shocked my daughter didn't live. Please. She lost to you. Weak, vulnerable, pathetic. I couldn't bear to you anymore. That's enough. A silvery voice rose from somewhere in the room. That voice, it was Lyle, the other announcer. The voice that welcomed us to this place was here. Zero, stop this at once. Oh, you. I believe I got rid of you, but you still came back. So weird. Haha, see what I did there, Eve? Eve? The students revealed the culprit. Was that not sufficiently entertaining enough for you? Yeah, they sure did do their thing, but geez, did it take a while. Alright, fine. His face was just so rich with despair, I couldn't help it. It was fun for you too, right? Stop this. Fine, fine. I'll get on with it. Goodbye, Archer Campopiano, the ultimate golfer. Your execution awaits. And so it goes. Zero's hologram rolled out, and a huge rumbling sound tore through the room. Something was coming. Are they gonna play an animation for this? The courtroom floor rumbled beneath us. One of the trial grounds walls slid open, revealing a dark pit beyond the walls. From within, a golf cart came shrieking out, drifting and circling our stands to stop squarely behind Art. Recognized arms swept Art off his feet, pulling him into the cart that had hardly stopped for a second before peering back into the darkness that it came from. Art became sequestered from us. All we could do was watch in horror as his fate was projected on a screen in the middle of the trial grounds. Art was tossed unceremoniously into what appeared to be a sand bunker in the middle of a giant miniature golf course. In a daze, he rose coughing up sand and meeting the gaze of a kitsched bear statue holding a race driver. The bear twitched, his metal body ground wearily as the arm shook to life. A swing tunneled through the air. Art gasped. Was he buried or was he spunked? Execution by extreme has it. Why? Wahaha! Phew, that was worth the wait, I think. And it's funny. He hated golf, but little did he know all those business deals he sat in on. Those deals were the ones that brought in funding for the preservation project, the very thing he wanted to escape to. He thought he could fly away, but it turns out his influence was unescapable. Life sure is cruel, isn't it? It was horrifying. A disgusting display mocking Art's ultimate title into his life. He hated his talent, and in his last moments, it was all he saw. We all stood completely and utterly shocked. No one said a word. No one moved a muscle. An unmistakably sinking feeling froze us over. Despair. In return for entertaining me, how about I answer one question that's been drilling into your minds? Where are we? This isn't the preservation project at all, is it? Oh, I say one question only. Our beloved courtroom resides in the Monokuma superstructure. Remember those earthquakes? Those aren't going to bother us thanks to civil engineering. The wonders of modern technology never cease, huh? So cool. I hope that satisfied your curiosity. It most certainly did not, you cat. Zero. That silvery voice spoke once more. You are a reaper of despair. Whatever you do ends in futility and provides no benefit to anyone. No benefit to anyone except you and your horrible Schadenfreude. Do you not think for a moment you've won? I will continue to fight back, even after what you've done to me. A sliver of light remains. Echo Pine. Uh-huh. You've received the title of Ultimate Memory. Memory? What is that? We have a tactician, photographer, and a silly puzzle master. Good memory for their skills is actually required, wouldn't you think? I won't even humor you with this one. The talent isn't even comparable to something remotely useful ultimate analytical powers, like that one pathetic girl. Come on, you've really given up trying, haven't you? It's no fun having any competition. Fine, you think that will give these people hope? MP6, your queen is in trouble. I have a little information neither of you nor the students will like. Cyrus Surik is someone to be wary of. What? He isn't who he says he is. He's not a normal Ultimate student like the rest of you. He's much more involved in this game than you think. Ultimate Charisma is a terrible cover talent. You all truly clueless if you believe that. Zero, stop, you've meddled enough. What? And you haven't? I've been given this power for a reason, you know, and I'm going to use it as I please. This isn't the answer. Whatever, courtroom is closed. These losers can marinate in despair for a night, but tomorrow we'll get it going again. Zero, shut up. I'm tired of your poor, useless attempts at creating hope. You will never win. You're a failure. Well, with that art display, the two holograms cut out. What? What just happened? I was on the verge of tears. My whole body shook violently. Ugh. There was a weight at the bottom of my heart dragging my whole body down. I felt like my head was going to split, becoming trapped in a strange luxury mansion where I seemingly didn't belong, stuck with a group of revert students with the so-called ultimate talent, getting involved up in a class trial where we had to investigate something killing someone else, concluding with a gruesome execution as if everything else wasn't enough. Why was this happening? I went to go to bed for a long, long, long time. This was a twist. I didn't expect the things to happen that happened. Before I knew it, my limp body dove to the floor and I keeled over. My heavy eyes closed wearily and I allowed myself to sink into the velvety darkness. This, I did not expect what happened. Oh my god, the cut. Why? No, Pandora. I'm gonna miss Pandora. I'm gonna miss her. A deep pulsing darkness filled every crevice and fold, bleeding through razor thin cracks, drifting unevenly between a nauseating black sea and a stifling, destitute vacuum. Obscurity murmured and pulped beneath the heavy velvet pall. Competing vibrations through the void pounded and shook the air with a stiff, rich chord. The staccato hum echoed, threatening to break the eclipsing shadow. Echo! 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 Huh? I opened my eyes as swift as and sharp pain struck my face. Hey, what gives? Mercy was standing over me, her hand poised in a way that suggested she was the one who had firmly woken me up. I'm sorry, Echo, but I had to wake you up. I shook you, but you didn't react, so I blinked several times. I rubbed my left cheek, my vision adjusting to the surroundings. It seems I was in either Mercy or Ashley's personal room. I sat up in the bed to see Ashley sitting at the foot of the bed just in front of me. Mercy was on my left, in a spare chair. Ashley? Mercy? What happened? Well, for starters, it's 9:15 p.m. You seem to have passed out after the trial earlier this evening. Ashley and I were concerned, so we've been monitoring you to make sure you are safe. However, I was worried. You stopped breathing in your sleep. I stopped breathing? Can't have you leaving us so shortly after we lost our other two friends. I hope that your newfound title, Ultimate Memory, does not begin to fail you so soon. Ultimate Memory? Wow, I have a title. I'm not talentless anymore. Yippee, and all it costed was 2 people. That's right. Just yesterday, I thought I was an ordinary student with no extreme talents or skills, and yet, in the courtroom, a revelation came to light, and I was given the unique title of Ultimate Memory. However that entailed, I wasn't too thrilled. But despite that revelation, it wasn't the strangest thing to occur. Man, I'm gonna miss these guys. I bit back my words and tears thinking about Pandora and Art. The truth was hard to swallow. Throughout the trial, many of us struggled to find footing in the discussions. None of us wanted to believe any of it. The murder, and following it, the execution. The three of us sat in silence, haunted by the dark happenings of the courtroom. I looked solemnly at the other two. Mercy and Ashley's faces told all a tapestry of remorse and distress. Well, what's important is that you're alright now, Echo. Yeah, thanks for you too. I'm relieved. Ashley's voice was a whisper. First the door trap, then this. We exchanged few words, but we knew from emotion alone how heavy our hearts weighed. Mercy breathed a tense sigh. Just the other day, Mercy was so composed, but now a voiceless iron curtain hung over us. There were so many things to address, but fear choked our dialogue. I looked up to meet Ashley's tearful gaze, and looking just past her, I saw something bright sitting on a cabinet in the corner of a personal room. It was a helmet. Ash? What is it, Echo? That helmet over there. When we first met up, I remember you saying you didn't have any personal possessions, but. Ah, yeah, I didn't mention it on the first day. I didn't want to talk about it then. Sorry, you don't have to. No, I think this should be brought up. Ash's face sunk. She turned to face the cobalt blue item. I'm sure you can recall what I told you about the person this helmet belongs to. I nodded gently and Ashley sighed deeply. Missy was quite politely listening. I got in a fight with my friend, another Ultimate student, Solver Prower, race car driver. That fight was about the very preservation project we're involved with now. The project was but a low whisper among the Ultimate students. Word was that we would be offered state-of-the-art living and protection, seeing as our talents would be of great world benefit. As soon as I received my offer to join, I couldn't say no. I asked Solver if he had accepted as well, but Solver declined, wholly disagreeing with the offer vehemently. He doubted the validity of a private group that only existed in the hopeful hearsay of strangers. But what position was I to deny safety when it had been offered so graciously? With our differing opinions on the matter coming to a clash, he eventually gave up on me entirely. Yet against his wishes, I made attempts to get his name in, and look where we are now. Ashley began to tear up and buried her head in her hands. I'm such an idiot. Her voice trembled. Ashley, you're not an idiot for caring about a friend's well-being. I was foolish for thinking the killing game would go away if I removed Echo from being involved in my troubles. Being involved with ultimate students only leads to ultimate levels of trouble, but I was wrong for thinking I could shoulder the tragedy on my own. Ashley looked at me with pleading eyes. They were full deep of sorrow and regret. I'm sorry, Echo. I realize now that it's more important than ever that we stick together. She grasped my hand firmly, but her own hands were shaking from fear. It was only natural. I felt a tear fall from my face onto the back of Ashley's hand. Mercy's voice slipped in. Why don't we get something from the dining hall to unwind? Everyone seems rather tense, and I think taking a beat could help us de-stress. Huh? How could you think of getting a snack at a time like this? I heard my voice cry in desperation. Pandora and Oz life was just taken away. I'm sorry, but I don't think we're of sound mind right now. That's right. We shouldn't waste time doing nothing. Then what would you suggest we do? We need to escape. Mercy, you're the ultimate tactician. I'm begging you. Come up with something, anything, any sort of plan to get us out of here. What's the point of ultimate talents if we can't do anything with them? Mercy flinched. She looked away, attempting to hide the reaction. I realized what I just said. I'm sorry, I went too far. Echo, it's fine. However, Mrs. West betrayed her emotions. She must have felt tense after everything as well, but she tried to retain her composure nonetheless. I let out a deep sigh. I'm sorry for losing my temper. You're right. A snack could help clear my head. Mercy? Mercy's expression Mercy's expression eased, but she said nothing. Rather, she slowly got up and offered a hand for me. She helped me out of bed, and we quietly made our way to the dining hall. Nighttime. The halls were eerily quiet, as if even sound were draped underneath the shadow of the evening lighting. Great. But what? Well, who can make food for us now that the ultimate baker is gone? Oh man. In the dining hall, we saw Forte sitting in his lonesome. Evening, folks. Forte's voice was a low mumble, his posture stern. He sat with his hands clasped on the table, resting just before the dining table centerpiece, Pandora's basket of pastries. Something to remember her by. Missy's idea to get a snack was quickly dashed when we were met with the memento of Pandora. My stomach was twisted. Are you alright, Forte? The answer was plainly painted on his face. No one was of sound mind after what we just witnessed. Even though we didn't answer outright, the question alone gave him a bit of comfort. Indeed, it will be a while yet for me to come to terms proper, but Tojo's in-house are pressed on shoot. always rise after a fall. Always rise? Pain exists, so we can grow and learn from it. What we do with this feeling of misfortune is what will motivate us to move forward. We learn from tragedy and grow forward. It's really all we can do. I must imagine Art was deserted. Regardless his generous fixings, being driven into a companionless corner like that would make anyone miserable. And being here now with our friends Missy and Ashley, as well as the others, should teach us that we have friends all around us who would feel anguish about one another. Alas, it's hard to think clearly when your mind has been clouded by despair. I feel terrible for Art, his swirling, desolate emotions pushed too far away. I wish to make it known that I care for all deeply. Cortez's melancholic voice stung my heart. Mercy and Ashley themselves had a wistful look in their eyes as they nodded in assent. We hardly knew each other, but I could feel the bond of our adversity bringing us close together. Our camaraderie knit together by taut strings of fear. If I may, as a precaution, I suggest no one travel alone. It's too dangerous to be without witness in the event something were to happen. It's not a thought I wish to entertain, but such steps may be necessary if we're going to be at the forefront of the killing game's unpredictability. I agree, and not only that, Cyrus' intense behavior could pose a potential problem. Huh? What happened with Cyrus? Well, after the trial, you recall what Zero said, right? Yeah, Cyrus is someone to be wary of. Ultimate charisma is a terrible cover talent. After you collapsed, he started acting suspiciously. It seems I've garnished some distrust among you all, no thanks to that lousy Zero. Cyrus? What is Zero talking about? There's no use hiding it. I think a reintroduction is only appropriate. Cyrus Rake, ultimate confidential informant of for the Preservation Project. You're with the Preservation Project? Of course, I rallied you all here, after all. So what's with the facade? You're in this game too, after all. Did you think you could keep up with the nice guys all the way through? That's for me to know. And all you need to know is this. You were all doomed from the moment you set foot here. I know for a fact. Nothing you do will save you from this game. Wow. Wow. And then he crept out of the courtroom, leaving us all confused to say the least. After that, Missy and I rushed you to my room so you could get your rest. Saying Cannon have been unresponsive all evening, I don't know how Lau is faring, but he's likely in similarly despondent shape. They've retired to their rooms as far as I know. However, if anyone would like to explore, find a partner to keep yourself safe. I cannot guarantee everyone's safety, nor can I force anyone to follow my lead, but I hope you know I wish for everyone's safety. Missy was strained. She wished to protect everyone, but it was difficult since none of us knew what could happen next. I'm awfully curious about something though. As we were returning to the foyer in the courtroom, I noticed that there was a button for the third floor lit in the elevator. The third floor? I saw that too. Missy, did you want to investigate the third floor? It's late, but I did want to make a brief round to see what's in store for us. I'll come with you. Echo, did you want to go back to your room for some proper rest? I imagine you've been quite fatigued lately. My stomach was in a knot. I didn't want to leave Ashley. No, it's fine. I'll come with you. I feel kind of restless anyway. Walking around could help. Okay, but don't push yourself, alright? I nodded slowly. If you folks are going to explore, would you mind seeing me off to my living quarters? Mercy and Ashley obliged, and we all left the dining hall together. In the foyer, we saw Forte off as he retired for the night in his personal room. Entering the elevator again, we traveled to the third floor that had recently opened up. After a low rumbling, the elevator stopped, revealing the new area. A digital kiosk was just outside the elevator, displaying a map of the grounds as we approached. The third floor landing hall led to a single main hall that split into 4 rooms, 2 on each side. Whoa, what? Who smokes? Why is there smoke? No, I don't think anyone smokes here. I mean, as the gambling, we can gamble now. That's cool. There's a garage on the third floor, but how do you leave? 4 new activity amenities are available to us. On the left there is a smoke lounge connected to a casino, and on the right is an art gallery connected to a garage. But of course, they're closed to us from 9 am to 7 pm. However, Mrs. voice trailed off. I followed her gaze to the smaller hallways that surrounded the perimeter of the main activity floors, activity rooms. Familiar doors dotted the hallway. An unknown school emblem decorated the door, but Mrs. eyes were transfixed on one. That's. And Ashley herself was looking at another door that bore a similar emblem on it that I had seen on the race car helmet earlier. Huh? Are we getting new people? There's another full set of personal rooms on the third floor. Missy and Ashley looked at each other with astonishment. They swiftly ran to their respective doors, but before they could do anything, I see you've met the rest of your classmates. There's more people. His flat, disembodied voice sent a chill up my spine. The two of them swung around to see Cyrus in a dark corner of the hallway. Cyrus continued, disregarding Missy and Ashley's grim faces. It's too late. Silver and Darling, they're out of the picture. Ashley and Missy reacted to the respective names. I remember Ashley telling me about Silver, so the other unknown was in relation to Missy. The atmosphere was suddenly heavy with paralyzing glares sent every which way. Why do you know this? What exactly do you plan to do with these threats? He shrugged indifferently, unconcerned with answering the questions tossed his way. Cyrus, who are you? I'm the Preservation Project's informant. I'll show him to handpick the class that appears in for this game. His glowing eyes pierced the very air between us. But Echo Pine, they're different. I was immobilized at the sudden mention of my name. I didn't even know if I was breathing. The three stood at a stalemate, a powerful dread radiating from their deadlocked eyes. Please, stop your facade. Facade? You all heard Zero in the drawl. The Cyrus you knew before wasn't the real me. He blew my cover, so I'm here in full form. Cyrus did his threats linger. The astringent potential for disaster master lay weight at the bottom of my stomach. Missy and Ashley closed in on either side of me, bracing themselves against his possible machinations. Come on, Cyrus, don't be like that. But he just sulked away, Cyrus' husky low laugh melting in the darkness. I was dizzy with fear, but Missy's firm voice kept me grounded. Hurry, let's return to the living quarters. She grabbed my hand, leading me through the dark towards the elevator that was some ways behind us. We hustled into the elevator and rode back to the main foyer. Great, I don't know what the ultimate informant does. Back in the foyer, soft light from the chandelier glittered, delicately lighting the main hall. There we crossed paths with Cannon, who was isolated in the foyer once again. Cannon? Ashley's voice was a whisper that didn't seem to reach Cannon's ears. We slowly approached her and saw her cold expression, but her face gave off a different demeanor somehow. Rather than an icy gaze, we met with a stony, soulless stare. Cannon, are you alright? I saw her come to, her eyes softening as she turned toward us. She murmured a quiet affirmation. Her cold exterior melted into a brief moment of vulnerability. Then my curiosity got the better of me and I capitalized on the brevity of silence. Cannon, I have to know. Why did you run away when I collapsed from electrocution? It's only natural to feel fear when you see someone get hurt. Huh? I was frightened. It's odd. I wanted to leave this mansion as soon as I woke up, but something stopped me. She gripped the instant camera she had hung on a short wrist strap. When I woke up in my personal room with only this camera in my possession, I couldn't help but feel unnerved. So I stood in the foyer wanting to leave but felt unable to due to a mysterious bad feeling. And it turns out that feeling was right. After I saw you scream and collapse, my suspicions were confirmed, but I didn't know what to do. I waited for anyone to come and see you so they could handle it. Forte? You know what happens from there. Yeah, I guess. I left someone else to help you because I didn't want to deal with that event. Although her face was no less intelligible than before, her voice was shaking. She was just as scared as, if not more than I was. She desperately wanted to protect herself from being the one who would point out the culprit as long as possible, knowing she couldn't delay the inevitable revelation. Cannon sighed heavily. Excuse me, I'm going to bed. Karen briskly walked towards the living quarters. Lucy and Ashley gave Karen a soft good night, each as she retired for the night. Nothing left to do in the dark of the night. We followed suit to our individual rooms. That's just great. Ashley stopped me for a moment in the living quarters hall. Echo, let's take care of each other, yeah? Of course. That doesn't need saying. Ashley mumbled something but cut herself off. Instead, she just gave me a hug. I closed my eyes and allowed myself to be swathed in the comfort of her embrace. Good night, Echo. Good night, Ash. Entering my personal room, I felt more alienated. This personal room, the comfort and luxury must have been fabricated, creating a false sense of comfort. And behind that sense of comfort, a facade of terror and malice was hiding a killing game with no remorse for the participants. I shook the nerves out and collapsed on my bed. I want to go to bed for a long, long time. Exhaustion overcame me, and another day would come to pass. Yippee! Day 4. Great. Who's next? Who's the next victim? Every 5 years of listening. Great. Someone's dying again. Someone's dying again. Alright, cool. I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.